This is an ad by BetterHelp. Men today face immense pressure to perform, to provide, and keep it all together. So it's no wonder that 6 million men in the U.S. suffer from depression every year, and it's often undiagnosed. It's okay to struggle. Real strength comes from opening up about what you're carrying and doing something about it so you can be at your best for yourself and everyone in your life. And I've obviously been going through a lot, with my personal life, with my marriage, with my mental health. BetterHelp has helped me tremendously. I strongly suggest, guys, that you check them out, especially a guy like me who has refused to get help for so long, and I finally let myself get a little bit of help, and BetterHelp has been, I can't speak enough about them. With over 35,000 therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, having served over 5 million people globally. It's convenient, too. You can join a session with a therapist at the click of a button, helping you fit therapy into your busy life. Plus, switch therapists at any time. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Talk it out with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at BetterHelp.com/JaxTaylor. That's BetterHelp.com/JaxTaylor. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to In the Mind of Jax Taylor. We have part 2 of Questions with Jenny, a.k.a. my sister. We're going to get into it again. We ran a little long last week, so we decided to make this a 2-parter. A lot of you guys are really, really enjoying this one, so we wanted to keep it going. A lot of the questions are rough. A lot of them are hard. A lot of them are honest. A lot of them are just tough. But you know what? We got to get to the bottom of this, and we got to figure out what is in the mind of Jax Taylor. So here we go, part 2 with Jenny and Lori. Do you think anything in your childhood contributed to Jax's rage and anger issues? This is a good one. I don't know. I know what you're going to say, Jenny. I don't know how you want to talk about this, or maybe I can graze on it because I know you don't feel comfortable saying this. And I don't know if this person's going to hear this podcast.
Go ahead and I'll elaborate.
Okay, so this is a very delicate subject because I do think there is a reason for my rage and anger. Do you agree?
Yes.
Okay, I think there is a person in our lives that we can agree on that maybe contributed to some of this. Do you agree?
I think we have a history of mental illness in our family, yes, and that we probably have always had it in us, and we just didn't know how to work through it and come out on the right side.
But why am I so more fucked up than you? Like, how come we came from the same cloth, right? So why is my brain wired the way it is, and why is your brain wired the way it is?
Our parents, obviously had something to do with the way we were brought up, or, the things that we dealt with and how we dealt with them. And, we didn't really talk about things, and you just kind of didn't talk. You just pretend like it didn't happen. And that was that.
I don't know how much I want to say on this because it makes me nervous, but I think a lot of what I've done and a lot of my exaggeration of the truth does come from somebody.
100%.
And I think I don't want to say because...
And you were really never held accountable. Like, excuses were made for you. I don't know why. I always thought because you were like the firstborn grandchild of the son of whatever, but you would get in trouble, but then you wouldn't, you know what I mean? Like, even when you were older and you were in the shows and you were getting in trouble, there was still somebody who always bailed you out.
Yeah, that's true. I've talked about that
whether
before.
It be
I've never
mom,
really been...
whether it be this, whether it be that, somebody bailed you out.
Oh, my friends?
What?
My friends?
No, I'm saying in general, like anytime you got in trouble, mom has got you out of trouble. I've gotten you out of trouble. I've lied for you. I mean, we've enabled it.
Yeah. I agree. I think I was a product of my environment. Mm-hmm. I think I have a lot of the same qualities as one of my parents, like almost scary, actually. And I think I literally take after this person a lot. And I think you're more like one of our parents and I'm like the other.
Yeah. I mean, I just never was, I kind of just wanted to not really be seen or heard, and I
was just the opposite.
And you're the opposite. And you were closer with one parent, and I was closer with one parent, and I think our personalities just kind of matched that a little bit.
Yeah.
Whether.
Yeah.
But also, you know, like you were the center of attention. So as a sister, you get overshadowed. I mean, everything was about you were the older brother. You were in hockey. You were in this. You were in that. I was just kind of like there, which was fine by me. And that's how I feel like I am now. I'm just kind of there.
See, and that's okay. That's okay. But
Yeah, I'm fine
in
with
life,
it.
I don't want to just be there. I want to be the center of attention. I want to be the lead singer. That's just who I am. It's hard for
Exactly.
me to take a back seat. I'm doing it now, but it's hard. It's really, really hard. I like being Jax Taylor. I like it. And you know, and like even my fucking name is not real. Like, I mean, I created this character and made it.
I think that was one of the questions too that somebody had. Like, and just so you all know, I never call him Jax.
No, I changed my name a long time ago. Like I think it was 20. I want to say I was 22 years old.
When I'm talking to Brittany, when I'm talking to Lori, when I'm talking, I never say.
So Jenny,
I either say Jason or
Jenny.
Jay.
When you found out that he changed his name, like, what was your reaction?
I thought it was funny.
The main reason I did that, and I've explained it before, is like I got into the modeling industry and nobody could pronounce my last name, and they're like, "Jason's." We have 50 Jasons with this place. So, and believe it or not, a lot of actors.
And I'm super sentimental, so to me it was sad. I'm like, why don't you want her? Like, it was hard for me to even change my last name from Couchy to Byrne. Getting married, I wanted to keep it. Like, I'm so like
I love my last name.
It's a totally different person. I would be sad. Like,
I was very, very sad when I did it. I thought it was disrespectful for my father. I was so sad about it that I got it tattooed on my arm. I got our family crest tattooed on my arm. Yeah. It was like almost a slap. I didn't want to. I know my dad never said anything. And by the way, Taylor is my mother's maiden name, so it's not like it's just a made up name. It's my mother's maiden name. But I was sad that I had to do it too. I'm sure it hurt my father. I'm sure like it was bad, but it was just like, okay, this is what they told me to do. And I'm not comparing myself to Brad Pitt, but that's not his name. Tom Cruise, that's not his name. Johnny Depp, that's not his name. All these people have done it. They all have completely different names. So that's kind of
I'm just saying that's. I mean, I'm not gonna call him that because that's not who I know him as. You know.
Yeah. No, and I agree.
It's weird for me. It's weird for me. Like,
I would never want you. I would never, ever, ever want you to call me Jax. Like, you're the one person.
Yeah, and you've never asked me, call me Jax in public or anything like that. I don't, you know.
And most people know that Jax is not my real name. We've talked about this over the years. People know that Jax is not my real name at this point.
Right.
Okay, we'll get on from this one. Sorry. Sure. This is another one do you think, this is an easy question, do you think Jax is a narcissist? Did he show these signs as a child or a teen?
Yes.
I mean, that's a no-brainer. Yeah.
But there also wasn't. I mean, I'm not like we were born so long ago, but nobody talked about this stuff. Like, when you were younger, like therapy was not frowned upon. This and that. Now everybody goes to therapy. You're weird if you don't go to therapy. I wouldn't be where I am and here today if it wasn't for therapy. But I enjoy going. I like going. That's my validation is when I go to therapy and I can figure out why I'm thinking the way I'm thinking. That's for me. That's what helps me be me.
And I agree with you. I said this 100%. We grew up in a time where we didn't talk about our feelings, and going to therapy was literally frowned upon. Like, talking about how you feel, not okay. So now I'm in this world now. All of a sudden, now men's mental health is a really big deal within the last, I would say, 5 years. Right now, we're supposed to all of a sudden talk about our feelings. And now I'm like, okay, now it's okay to talk about it when I've been told my whole life I'm not supposed to talk about it. And it's nothing against my father, nothing against my grandfather. They just they were taught not to talk about it. So they were just teaching what they were taught to me. So I'm going to break that. And I'm obviously going to want my son to talk about whatever he's going through. But I just think, again, being a narcissist, I grew up like this. I grew up the center of attention. I grew up wanting to be the life of the party. I don't know how, like, just this word narcissist has been thrown around so much in the last couple of years. And, you know, I don't know how I have to work really, really, really hard to not be to not be a narcissist. I have to work really hard not to be selfish. I have to work really hard not to manipulate a situation, which is fucking, like, I have to think about it. And even when I think about it, I still do it. And I definitely was like this person as a child, 100%. Again, I don't know where it came from. I don't really know. I don't know. That's, again, another emotional topic. But I also think too, I guess I'm just not a sit back and take it kind of person. I feel like sometimes I just have to, sometimes I just think I don't know. I don't even know how to talk about this because I don't know. I think my narcissistic traits, I think a lot of people are narcissistic, by the way. I mean, the most successful people in the world are narcissistic. But at the same time, there's a different way to do it. I don't know. This is a tough one. I don't know. What frustrates you most about me? That's another podcast.
I think it's just like that you just can't like do the right thing sometimes. Like,
I have
to
a
me,
hard
it
time.
seems second nature. Like, just fucking be a good person and do what's right and follow whatever you got to do. Like, I don't understand why you need to stray from that. Like, it's just, that's the frustrating part because it's such a beautiful life when you are a good person and you do good things and you follow the rules. It's like it's such a relief when you don't have to freaking worry about what lie you're catching or what things you're saying or what did I say to this person, what did I say to that person. Like, I don't understand why you wouldn't want and like just
it's
go through life.
It's gotten significantly worse since my divorce. I think while I was married, I was a very calm.
I agree. I do agree. I think like everyone always asks, what were you better with Brittany? I don't know. I think you were in a way, you were definitely calmer and like things, you didn't worry about other things. I don't know, like certain stupid things that you probably do now, like worry now and like whatever. You weren't, whatever. It was just, you were a different person with her. Do I think that you guys got like way too toxic? 100%. But I do think when people say I think you were a better version of yourself in some ways, but definitely not. Somewhere it turned. It really turned.
I think
in the beginning it was great. You guys were great and you were so much fun. I mean, Patrick and I talk about it all the time. We had so many good fun memories with you guys, and then something changed.
Something down the line in my marriage changed. I don't know what happened. I don't know when it happened. I don't know when I got so comfortable or when we got comfortable. I don't know if it was after we got married. Somewhere down the line, things started to change and we just really got extremely toxic and we just were not getting along. I don't know. And I think then I started coming out and I started retaliating and I started making stupid, decisions and things like that. And I just wasn't happy anymore. And I know she wasn't happy either. And I was just spiraling. And I'm still in the same way. I'm not going to tell you I'm cured by any means. And I think after
your lifestyle, your drugs and alcohol, all that stuff, that doesn't help at all either. So you add that into the mix.
Well, and tapping into the drugs and alcohol part, now I'm dealing with all this. I'm dealing with the divorce. I'm dealing with the world coming down on me raw. Okay. I'm not taking any drugs any now to mask the situation where before, if something was going on, I would do drugs, I would drink, and then I'd have to worry about it. Now I'm dealing with all this raw emotion and trying to like get through it on, a prescription that I take instead of drugs and alcohol, and that's really hard to do. Hearing all these things about me, going through a divorce, going through, OCD and PTSD, all this stuff without being on anything is fucking hard.
Yeah, but now
you have to feel.
It should fuel you to be a better person.
I know, but now I have to feel this, actually feel it, and not numb it with drugs and alcohol, which is hard to do. I've never done that. I've been drinking and doing drugs for 20 years, 20 plus years. So I've never had to feel any emotions because I would just like numb it with drugs. And that's why we drink and do drugs, because we numb the shit that we're going through. Nobody does it because they want to do it. They do it because it takes you away from the pain that you're dealing with. And I've dealt with a lot of fucking pain, and I've dealt with things that I've dealt with stuff that I didn't want to dive into. I never grieved my father passing away. I never really grieved certain situations, grieved not talking to my mother, grieved, there's been a lot of things going on in my life that I just really never dove into and like got to the bottom of. I would just mask it and then just do drugs and alcohol and forget about it, And now that I'm not doing this stuff, now I'm diving back into old things that I should have fixed years ago. And it's tough. It's hard for me. And I don't know. I frustrate myself on a lot of this stuff, and it's just so hard for me to make the right choice sometimes, and I don't know why. I really don't know why. I can't sit there and say, well, this is why I do this. It's just sometimes I feel like I have to cut the corner, and I don't know why. I know the answer to this next one. Are you currently watching The Valley? No. Jenny does not watch. I don't think you ever even watched Vanderpump, did you?
I did watch it in the beginning, and then it just got a little too much. And I don't watch The Valley because I lived it, and it's too hard for me to watch that stuff. I mean, I love Brittany. I love my brother. I love my nephew. And I already know that what is going on. So to rewatch it, it's not good for my mental health.
I know. And I'm sure, and this kind of goes along with that, do you have conversations about some of the things that I've done with people?
Oh, people ask me all the time questions. I mean, that's all they want to know. But and I am somebody who doesn't try to like look for things. I don't go on Reddit. I don't go on any of that stuff. I don't even know what that stuff is, except,
I don't either.
Some of my in-laws look at it. They look at it. They send people, my friends, they send me things. Is this true? Is this true? And then I usually ask Lori if it's true, and she'll tell me, and then that's it. I give them the answer because I don't it's not easy as a sister to hear these things or I want to believe that you're a good person. I want to believe that you're making good choices. And like I said before, which is not the way to think, but sometimes ignorance is bliss. And for my own mental health, I try to just stay away from that stuff.
Have you, you filmed a few times on Vanderpump in the Valley. Have they asked you to film more or be part of the cast? Would you?
Probably. I mean, I might film more a little bit to be part of the cast. No, I probably wouldn't. I don't know. I like my boring life as much as maybe if I was younger and whatever. But then again, I'm like, no, I don't know. I like my.
Did you?
My boring life.
The times that you have filmed, did you like it, or what were your thoughts on it?
Yeah, no, it was definitely fun. I really loved everybody was very comforting or help you pep you up, and everybody was really nice. And I think I'm more like probably look like I had deer in the headlights because I'm watching all this chaos blow up in front of me, and I'm like, what the, But and I'm not interesting, so it's not really like I have much juice.
I think the interesting part is that you and I are related. I think that's
that's probably
people are like, how the fuck are you related to this guy?
Right.
There's some incredible TV coming out of the UK right now. Brits just do it differently. The accents, the wit, the scenery, the devastating one-liners disguised as compliments. It's all streaming on BritBox. They have the best mysteries, dramas, comedies, and seriously addicting originals like Outrageous, based on the true story of the Mitford sisters. They were kind of like the Kardashians of the 1930s, wealthy, audacious, chaotic, wildly opinionated, and always making headlines. And chances are you've never heard their story. It's stunning. It's jaw-dropping. It's very British. So check out Outrageous. It could be your next favorite. Don't miss Outrageous, streaming now only on BritBox.
What was our last biggest fight about? Do you know? What was our last issue about? I actually know what our last issue about.
Yeah.
The last time we had an argument, again, I was coming off of drugs and alcohol. And the next day for me is a total disaster. Like, it's not when I'm doing it, it's the next day. And even with Brittany, I would say 90% of the time her and I got into huge arguments, I was on drugs and alcohol or, things like that. I'm
going to pop in and just say that Brittany in her latest episode, she rebutted that. She said that you had multiple arguments when both of you were sober. So
listen, every couple has arguments. Not one couple out there doesn't fight. Okay. I don't care who you are. I don't give a shit who you are. Everybody fights. So yes, did we have arguments? Absolutely. But I'm talking about self-destructive, screaming, yelling, coming like being verbally abusive was from drugs and alcohol. That is 100%. Everybody argues and fights like stuff, whatever. But the stuff where it was concerning, yes, I was on drugs and alcohol. Yes, Jenny and I, the only time, Jenny, I think the only time that you and I really have gotten in arguments, I think alcohol or substance was involved, correct?
For sure.
Yeah, so we don't really argue that much more. And then if I'm fucking up or doing something wrong, obviously, or you'll get downwind of something, you'll call me and be like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
But other than that, I feel like when you and I are together, we have a great time. I think we have a great time. I think we like to live our childhood. Jenny and I are both very nostalgic, and we like to do our favorite. When I come to visit, we go to our favorite restaurants. We go to our favorite hangouts. We go check out our old house. We just do things that are very like our
We have a
youth.
lot of stupid inside jokes that nobody really understands.
We have a lot of inside jokes and personal things that we love because we really, really had a great childhood. So we just kind of miss it. We really, really miss it. Here's another one. Do you guys speak to your mom? How is your relationship with her? I'll answer for myself first. I speak to her. I text her pictures of Cruz. I wished her a happy 70th birthday. That's about it. That's as far as that goes. I'm going through so much right now that I think opening up a conversation with my mother right now is just not a good time. I'm on the fence with it a lot of the time about if I should reach out, if I shouldn't. I have people telling me I always ask, what are your thoughts on that? People are going to say, well, you're going to regret it when something goes wrong and she's not there anymore. But I also thought, listen, I need to
It takes two.
It does take two. I do, like I said, I think it's right that I do send her pictures of my son. I think she deserves to see her grandchild. It's her blood. So I try to send her at least one picture a week. I do not usually get a big response from her. And that's okay. That's okay. I just want to know that what I want to do is if my son gets older and he says, Dad, did you try with your mom? Did you make an effort? I want to be able to say, you know what, I did. I reached out and I sent pictures of you and I said, I hope you're doing well. Basically very surface level with my mom. Happy birthday, things like that. But I do not have full conversations with her. And as far as Jenny goes,
I do not talk to my mom. She has not tried to reach out to me in 6 or almost 7 years. I have also not tried to reach out to her. I find out things through her friends, whether I don't really ask, or through my brother. I don't, she has no idea what's going on in my life unless my brother has told her. So, I did have a major surgery and my brother decided to tell her and I heard nothing. So in my eyes,
I didn't mean to do that. I didn't know what to do. So Jenny, I'm not digging into you, but Jenny, you had a big surgery, a surgery
yes.
that was I think scary for me. I don't know much about the surgery she had, but it's surgery. Just the word surgery is enough. Okay. In my eyes. So I took it upon myself, which I didn't really ask Jenny too much. I said, listen, in my brain, I need to tell mom that she's having a surgery. I just think as a mom, she needs to know. I just think, and I took it in my own hands. I didn't ask Jenny about this because I knew she probably wouldn't want it, but I just think that she needed to know. And I told her that she was having surgery today and what it was. And then I told you after.
Yeah,
I just
you
felt
told me, and I think, we have very different ideas of what we think my mom needs to know. And I think, whatever, I wasn't happy that you told her because exactly what happened and I heard nothing. So
that's awful to me. And I'm sorry.
And that's all I need, and that stuff used to bother me. It used to bother me, but I have been through a lot of therapy. I've done a lot of self-work. And to be honest with you, it doesn't affect me like it used to. I used to get very upset or disappointed, and when you're disappointed in those things so much, you build a thick skin to it, and now it doesn't affect me like it used to, and that's fine.
But I did that. I want you to know.
It's at the end of the day, you think she deserves it to see it. That's fine, and I think it's her loss.
It's 100% her loss, and I was not doing it out of like.
No, I know.
Mean. I was doing it because
who you are. That's just that you shoot now or whatever you said. Think later, and not something I was going to share with her, but you did, and it is what it is.
I just was thinking I was thinking of God forbid something went wrong in your surgery, and she was not aware of it. I think
she wouldn't even come to it.
I didn't know how she was going to handle that. I thought there's an opening right there for mom to come in. There's an opening right there. There's that. There's a lot of
openings, but
and I just felt like
at the end of the day, in my eyes, she's the mom. So.
I agree, and
if she wanted to be part of my life, she would. She's never tried, but I've never been a person that's been like, you can't be part of my life. So that's where I stand with that.
Has your relationship with Brittany changed since their separation and everything going on?
Brittany and I, we have never really been we talk every day, but if I need to talk to her or I need something,
you talk every day?
What? No, I said we've never been the
Okay.
people that talk every day.
Okay.
You know, when I do need to talk to her, she always answers my calls or texts me back, or things like that. I mean, I would love for my relationship to be closer, I guess, but she's busy and she's got a lot going on with Cruz, and I respect whatever. Maybe it's not easy for her to necessarily want to be. I don't know. I mean, I wish. I love Brittany. She's is a great sister-in-law. I still consider her a sister-in-law, and she's going through a lot right now too. And I'm always there for her, and she's always been there for me. So nothing. I mean, nothing's really changed. I know if I wanted to see Cruz, she would let me see Cruz, that kind of thing. So, and I'll always have Brittany's back. I always have. I always will.
What's the most asked question you get asked about me when people find out that I am your brother?
Is it everything on TV real?
Yeah. I was thinking that in my head. I'm like, what is she? How's she gonna answer that? Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone's like, is that really? Is that real? Is that how he really is? Is that?
What would you say is the thing that you saw online or on the show that embarrassed you the most that I've done?
Not that I watched, but what I've heard is like all the stuff that has gone down this season.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. Yeah, it hasn't been a really good season for me. I'm hoping.
No, I mean obviously I'll see clips here and there or whatever, but I tried to avoid it because it's heartbreaking.
It is heartbreaking, and I mean it's embarrassing. It's heartbreaking. It's life changing. I wish I could have done things differently. I really, really wish if I could go back and do things differently, I would. Not so much as like, I know Brittany and I need to separate. That part is okay. I'm okay with that. But the way I handled it all was just completely wrong. And that's just one of my shoot first, ask later mentalities. Like, I just couldn't handle it. I couldn't handle the divorce. Even though I'm the one that wanted it just as much as she did, I couldn't handle it. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
I don't know why. I just don't know why I acted the way I did. And it was just awful. And I wish I could take it all back. I really wish I could take the way I handled it back. Do I think Brittany and I need to be separated? Absolutely. Absolutely. It's just too toxic and we just don't get along. But I think at some point down the road, and I hope that we'll be okay and we'll look back and be like, gosh, where did it all go wrong? What happened? And I'm glad, hopefully we'll get to a good point to where we can take our son places and be okay, That's my goal. What do you and Jax relate to on the most? What is the thing that you guys most have in common?
Our love for the 80s.
We're both very, very nostalgic. And
yes, we
all
are.
day,
Both
every day, we always send each other memes or quotes or movie things from the 80s and the 90s. The first thing I say when I get back, because when I go visit Jenny, what are we doing? We're sitting on the couch. We're eating our favorite chips from Michigan, our Better Made chips. We're gonna maybe smoke a little, and we're gonna watch drink a Coca-Cola because we always drink Coca-Colas. Then we're gonna, watch our 80s, 90s, TV shows. We'll watch, whatever. So I think we kind of relate to our childhood again, kind of going back again to our childhood. We just we want to relive it.
Which probably means something.
It does. Somewhere down the line,
a therapist would dissect that. Yeah.
We really, really, as much as, I think we really, really just loved our childhood. I think that says a lot about our childhood, the fact that we like reliving it.
Yeah.
Do you think that I'm working on myself and trying to make some changes?
I think in some ways, but I think you could do better. I think you could do more.
Okay, so, I mean...
I think you need a life coach. I honestly, I think you need someone that walks around with you and holds your hand 24/7, if I'm being honest.
What? Really?
Yes. I think you need someone to check you as soon as you want to do something you're not supposed to be doing. Why are you doing that? Why are you doing it? And ask you, why are you doing that? Why do you think you're doing that? Because you get in your head. So, like, you're going to get in your head, and then you're going to think this, and then you're going to think this. And if you had somebody there, like, oh, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? But that's not real life, right? So, but I think
at my age, you shouldn't need to have somebody hold your hand personally, but.
No, you shouldn't. But you also, you have to think maybe, like, therapy-wise, right? Like, you might not be in your head 46 years old. Like you might be stuck somewhere else because, in your head and all this crap that you've had going on and all the grief and the this and the living and where you live and like dissecting it for you and being like, well, why do I want, before you can do it, someone can be like, why do you want to do that? And then you can ask yourself, because you're not going to ask yourself that. You know what I mean? Because you are so impulsive like that. I mean, for a week, that would be, I would love that for you. For a week, for you to have someone like.
I got to say though, I think I've been a lot calmer than I used to be. I think being on
no, I know. I do think. I think you asked, like, do I think you're doing better? Yeah, you are, and you think a little bit more. You ask a little more questions about me. You'll be like, oh, how are you, or this. You do. There are things that you do. But I also think it's going to be a work in progress. I mean, we all are a work in progress. I think you still have a long way to go. I mean, it's only been,
I don't like to say that work in progress anymore because I'm always going to need help. I'm always going to need an assistance or whatever. That's just unfortunately, That's just me.
But we all need that. We all use somebody that you'd be like, hey, what do you think? I mean, I literally, when you were home, texted my therapist, hey, this is a situation. How do I handle it? And it was the easiest answer. And I was like, why didn't I think about that?
What was the situation that bothered you when I was home?
It wasn't even to do with you. It was to do with me and my emotions. Like, hey, this is how I'm feeling. How can I get past this? Okay. And she laid it out for me and it was great. Oh yeah. That's all I have to do. Okay. Because sometimes we get stuck in our own head and we can't think about an answer that might be so easy.
Maybe I need to get a new therapist, or I just chat GPT that shit.
Yeah. I mean, it's basically like chat GPT with her,
I hope everybody's enjoying this so far. God, these questions are getting super real and raw and emotional, but I'm happy we're being honest here and we're trying to get to the bottom of it. And probably this is the most honest I think I've ever been about myself. And I know people are gonna be like, God, this guy's fucking tragic train wreck. But you know what? I kind of use this as therapy too. Trying to get to the bottom of some of these issues. But do you think? I know the answer to this one. Do you think that I can ever be in a relationship again?
No. I think you could be in one. I don't think you should be in one.
Here's the thing. I'm going to answer that question for you right now. I have zero interest in being in a relationship. Again, that's a normal thing to say when you've been in a 10-year relationship in the last 3 years being toxic as they were. So the last thing I want to do in a relationship. Do I want to have somebody that I can hang around with and possibly, it's almost like I want to have my cake and eat it too, but I can't. You know what I'm saying? Like do I want somebody that I can, what's the best thing to say? That I can hang around with? I want to say be a friend without going any further than that. But
Yeah, but I don't think you can have just one. That's the problem because it is doable. Like a lot of people nowadays, that's a thing. Like women don't realizing they don't need a man. But yes, you want somebody to go out to dinner with, to watch a movie with, but and maybe in a day I want to go home to my own house. I want to decorate. I don't want to take care of somebody. I don't want to whatever. But you, I don't think could do it with just one person. You would get bored.
That's true. And right now I'm in no place to be doing any of that. But I think I'm in such a fucked up place emotionally that I'm having a hard time, being alone. I need to be alone. I need to be in that uncomfortable spot, but I'm having a hard time with it. So I have to find somebody to validate me, somebody to
you need to be in a relationship with yourself.
That's who
you need to be in a relationship with.
I do, but it's really hard for me. It's just hard for me to be alone.
Why?
Because when I'm alone, I get in my head and I start thinking about things and I start like, wait, I shouldn't be this comfortable. Like I said it before. I don't deserve to be happy. I don't deserve to be successful. I just feel like I deserve to always be sabotaging myself. Like I can't sit still with my own thoughts. Does that make sense?
Do you talk to your therapist about this kind of thing?
Yeah.
And what do they say?
They said that's a normal for a person that's going through what I'm going through. A person that's going through a traumatic divorce. And everybody says the same thing. You are going through not only a divorce, but you are going.
Yes, I know. I know you are going through a traumatic divorce, and I know.
No.
You're going to have to not say that.
I know, but it's a very public divorce. It's different.
Yeah, I know. It's on TV. I totally understand that. But you have to be strong enough to be like, okay, this is what it is, and this is what I'm going to do, and this is how I'm going to move on from it.
I know, and I just can't get there for some reason.
Yeah, it'll take time. And you have good days and bad days.
I'm going to jump in for a second. Like, I'm so happy you said that, Jenny. And also, I think that it's about him learning to seek validation in healthier ways, like seeking that
Yes.
validation from actually important people in his life, right?
What does that
That's
mean?
true.
Seeking validation from important people.
Like you always say, like, I'm seeking validation, and I think we could all read between the lines of what you mean by that. Probably you've insinuated, like, hanging out with different people that I guess tell you what you want to hear or make you feel good and don't call you out and don't hold you accountable. But I think that it's about getting to the point where, you feel good about validation from people like your sister or Brittany or your son being really proud of you. You know what I mean? And doing good for them and for people that actually mean something in your life than somebody that's
And I do
coming
think
or going.
But I don't give a
that's why
shit.
you that's why you reach out to mom, is because you're waiting for her to say, I'm proud of you. And you have the one thing in your life you are proud of, that you can truly say you're proud of, is your son. And that's why you sent her pictures of your son, because that's the one thing you're proud of.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. I truly, though, I do want positive reinforcement from, you and Ryan, Lori, and my sister. And those are my friends are my friends. I love my friends, and I do. They're great people, but they're not gonna sit and break things down to me. Kristen will, but I appreciate that. I think those are true friends when they tell you the shit that you don't want to hear. Good friends will do that. Bad friends are gonna just be like, let's go out and
Do you
party.
have friends like that in your life? Because I don't think there's many people that.
My friends are my friends, but they will not confront me on certain things. They will not say, you're doing this, this, and that, because I think they're afraid of me. I think they're afraid of what my reaction will be. I think because I still have a little bit of a power over my group a little bit. And I think if I say something that maybe disrupts that, I think I still have a little bit of a hold on that. But I don't think my friend, and the ones that do tell me, like you guys don't give a shit. Like, I don't care if you don't, like, I'm telling you what's on my mind. And that's a good thing. That's the stuff that I need to hear. Telling me things that I don't need to hear is just not important, but it means a lot to me coming from you guys. Like, it does, and when you don't hear that and when you let people down, it's hurtful because you think you're doing the right thing, but then again, you're not. It's, and sometimes my idea of doing the right thing is definitely not the right thing, but my head thinks a different way than other people's heads do. Like, I sometimes honestly in my heart of hearts think I'm doing the right thing when I'm not, which, is different for me. And it gets me into a lot of trouble. So you don't think I should be in a relationship again? That's the bottom point. No, I don't agree.
Yes.
I don't think I should be. And I will tell you right now, 100%, hand to God, I will never, ever, ever get married again. That will never, never happen. I will never have any more children again either. That's it. I'm done with that. I had a good run with it. I gave myself 10 years to Brittany, and I just don't think I can do the relationship thing again. I just don't think I can. It's just tiring. It's just exhausting. I don't even know how to date, nor would I just want to get into that. But anyway, this is a tough one, Jenny. And I know the answer to this because Lori's told me that you've called and cried. Were you ever scared about Jason's drug abuse? Did you know about his drug issues? Did you try to help him?
I did not know to the extent of I knew, you dabbled in it. I did not know to the extent that you did it. And yes, obviously I was really scared, and I still get scared because, we have a history of heart issues in our family. We've had our uncles die young and things like that. And yeah, but and I think you think sometimes you're invincible and that stuff's not going to happen to you. So yeah, of course I was scared.
Yeah.
And I just want to jump in. They also asked, did you try to help him? And
I mean, as far as like, yeah, I did. I mean, like, yeah, we all got together and we all talked about it, and a couple times. I mean, but it's like, it's very hard. You're not an easy person to approach sometimes, so it takes a while. And obviously, you're my only. I have a little bit of family still, but like my only close person to me. So it's like I get nervous. I don't want you to obviously get mad at me or not get mad at me because whatever, we have fought and it's fine. But like I don't know. I feel like you had to tread lightly.
Yeah.
With how we approached you about it. because you will just say, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem.
Yeah, no,
So-
obviously going to rehab and says I clearly had a problem, and I said this. It took me to get sober to realize that I had a problem. I was using way too much, and it got to the point where I would just numb all my issues, and that's, I think, it just became like a regular thing for me. Like I just using drugs was a regular thing. There was a point where I didn't even go out without having a vial of cocaine on me. And I always say, I tell people, drinking, to be honest, really was not my problem. It's the drugs. I'm not a big drinker, but the fact that I drink and they go hand in hand. If I have a cocktail, I'm going to look for some drugs. But yeah, I think it was tough for you. It was tough for me to hear. It's tough for me to hear that you guys got together and kind of did a small intervention, you know? And I feel like, you know, I come from a world where there's very little cheerleading going on. So I create like this survivor instinct, and I cut people out and I minimize opinions. And I always think my opinion is better than everybody else's. Would you agree?
Yeah.
And that's tough. I get in this own little world where I just kind of like, everybody's wrong except for me. And
or you'll deflect and like make, well, this person did this, so it's fine. And this person did this,
that's
so it's fine.
That's really tough for me to do. I do this all the time. It's because, first of all, everybody I know is doing things that they shouldn't be doing. I'll leave it like that. I want to be very vague because I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus. And it's kind of like, damn it, why is the microscope so on me when so-and-so is doing this, exactly what I'm doing? I mean, half of my friends are doing exactly what I'm doing, and yet the microscope is on me. And listen, I'm a father. If I wasn't maybe a father, if I wasn't where I am today, maybe it wouldn't be. But maybe there's a silver lining here somewhere. But I just, sometimes I feel like, damn it, why am I the one that's just being picked on all the time? You know, maybe it's because my friends care about me more than their friends care about them. Maybe my friends don't want to see me self-destruct as my like the other friends do. I don't know. I don't know the reason, but it frustrated me like in the beginning when like, gosh, you're doing this. Well, shit, I got 20 other friends that are going through a divorce doing the same thing that I'm doing. Why aren't you yelling at them? You know?
Yeah,
like,
but I will say, you think it's the same thing, and maybe certain things are, but it's not the level where you took things, you know? And I think that's what needs to be acknowledged. And sometimes that it's even hard for you to see, you know?
No, I don't see. I'm very blinded by things. I only see a very small portion of it. I don't see the deep down hurt and shit that I caused, because I'm like, well, that didn't bother me that much. Well, dude, yeah, but it did bother you, but look what you did to her. Or look what you did to him. You don't see it because in your brain, you think you're doing the right thing, or you think you're not doing that big of a deal, but you are really causing a lot of hurt. And I don't.
That's why I hope one day you do watch all the episodes, because I think maybe you're not at the point where you're able to do it now, and that's something you could discuss with your therapist. But I do think it's very important for you to watch.
I just don't think I'm strong enough to do that. I think it would put me in such a hole. I think I think that would send me over the edge. I don't think I'm strong enough to watch myself go down these fucking dark rabbit holes. I think maybe in time, one day, maybe when I'm mentally okay, if that ever happens, I can sit down and be like, whoa, what did this? I think if I see it now, I would just sit there and I would just cry. I would probably cry.
You were beside yourself when you watched the first episode, right? You watched that first one.
I did watch the first episode, and I know these next coming up episodes are going to not be great either. But yeah, I don't know. I just it's rough. Yeah, it's rough. But people are asking right now, I'm sorry, I got a question real quick. Is Jenny's husband, Jax's brother-in-law, in the boys chat?
Yes,
he is in the boys chat. Patrick is in the boys chat. He doesn't talk much in it. I think he's talked maybe a dozen times in the 10 years that we've had it, but he is in it. He said he reads it from time to time, but you know, Patrick has a normal job where he can't be on his phone 24/7 like we can. So, but yes, to answer your question, he's in it. And I got to get Jenny a t-shirt that says my my boyfriend's in the boys chat, or my husband's in the boys chat.
And I've never seen it, so he doesn't ever.
That's the next question. Have you seen the boys chat? Yeah.
No, I haven't seen it. I don't think I've ever seen it. Like I'll sometimes I'll look over and I notice that he's like catching up on it, and he'll laugh or whatever. But
Patrick says some funny things once in a while, and all my friends know
funny.
Patrick. Everybody knows Patrick. So even though he doesn't live here in LA, everybody knows him and loves him. So, what do you think is what was one of the iconic one-liners that I've said over the years? Yeah. Obviously,
I mean, the one that I actually think is actually extremely funny is the Shino, the one at the butt. Like that scene is actually pretty funny.
When I get that one all the time, that was so not planned that the timing on that was perfect. Like when she came out and said it, and I just kind of was like, not really. Like I was not even. They literally that scene there. They were like, all right, Jax, you're going to be at the bar. We're doing your normal thing. Sheena's going to come in and have a conversation with you. I'm like, okay, no problem. And she came in. I had no idea what we were talking about. It was probably going to be about Stassi, or in those days it was about a party or something. That's where I thought the conversation was going. So when she came in, I didn't even know she was a singer. Sheena does things like are so off the wall all the time. Anyway, so she came in. She's like, "Hey, you want to hear my new song?" And I'm like, "No, I don't. Not really." I thought that was funny. I get so many DMs about that.
What about something that he said recently? Were you there, Jenny? Or I think it was when you FaceTimed.
The IVF thing?
Yes, I was just with Brittany in Miami.
Oh my God.
He FaceTimed us. He was talking about some story about somebody that he knows did IVF, but he said, "Oh yeah, that woman did DTF."
Yeah, DTF.
Instead of IVF, like DTF from Jersey Shore down to
F word.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I mean, you can't make this up. If that was recorded for an episode, it would have gone viral.
See, when I can't think of the word in my head, like Jenny knows.
Yeah, you just make it up.
I just make it up. Like, so there's a lot of people's names I can't remember. I do this all the time. When Jenny's like friends or whatever, I'll just make up the name that's somewhere similar, right? So I forgot what IVF, I forgot the initials. So I was like, I don't know, what, DTF or something like that?
Yeah.
Little did I know, DTF means nothing what it's supposed to mean.
I was talking to Maddie the other day, and she said something. She's like, "Remember when we went camping and your brother was dating Anne, and a bird? We were canoeing, and a bird shit on her, and she was like, 'Jason, the birds are everywhere.' And you go, 'It's called fun, Anne.' 'Oh no, they were squirting me with water guns.' And she's like, 'Jason, they're getting me wet.' And you go, 'It's called fun, Anne.'"
It's called fun, Anne. One time I said. What was the other one? I got this one mixed up. You kill two birds with 58 stones or something. I can't remember that one. That was really funny. I just butcher things,
you do butcher things bad.
I do. I butcher things.
It's another laziness thing. Like you just don't.
I call them Jax-isms. Jax-isms.
The time you said on a few podcasts ago, like, even Mona Lisa would do that instead of Mother Teresa. And
oh my gosh,
Stacy, the producer from PodcastOne here, she didn't even pick up on that. We didn't edit it. I mean, that was hilarious.
That is funny.
And like Mercury's in retrograde, I was like, well, Gatorade's close enough. Mercury's in Gatorade. I was like,
Mercury's in Gatorade.
Whatever, man.
That's what I mean. I feel like you are really funny, and like especially behind the scenes when you're like comfortable at home. Like we do funny, you do stupid, funny things.
When you get me in a when I'm not like overthinking, and I'm not in my head, when I'm not living in between my ears, I tend to relax, and I can be a good time, and I can be a good person. The problem is there's just so much trauma in my brain that I have a hard time relaxing. And, the only things that take me off of that are my son. When I hang out with him, I feel like there's nothing else around when I'm with Cruz. And I feel like there's nothing else around when I'm hanging out with you and Patrick. When I'm in Michigan, nothing else matters. And it's just so refreshing. That's why I almost cry when I start landing in Michigan, because I know I'm safe here. I'm safe in Michigan. I'm safe at your house. I'm safe with my son. I know that nothing's going to happen. And I think that gives me a little bit of sense of joy, and I can be myself. I can be the person that I know that I can be when I'm with you, And it's
which
really...
I think used to be like Florida too, when we would go visit mom and dad and all that, and go on the boat and
there's something about like me just turning off Jax when I am around certain people, and people are always like, why can't you be more like this? Where is this guy when you're home? It's kind of like I get back on the plane back to LA and back to Jax again. It's like I can't
I can turn him off on certain things, and I wish I can just leave him back on. I wish I can turn him off all the time, if that makes any sense. I feel like I'm a different human being when I'm around you and Patrick. I feel like I'm a different human being when I'm around my son.
Yeah.
And I wish I could just be that person all the time, but it's just tough for me. Listen, guys, this was a lot of, I want to say a lot of fun, but it was actually pretty tough. But you know what? You guys deserve to know everything that's going on. And I'm trying to be as honest as I can when it comes to my life and what I've gone through. And I appreciate you guys listening. I also appreciate for all the questions. They were all great questions. And I really appreciate Jenny tuning in from Michigan. I know you got a lot going on with your life and your job, and you took some time to talk with me. Also want to say thank you to Lori for taking time out of her busy day to join us, although Jenny said she wasn't going to do this if Lori wasn't going to be here, so I appreciate that. Okay, guys, thank you so much for listening.
Thank you.
I will see you next week. Tune into the Valley Tuesday nights, and we'll talk to you guys later. Thanks again. Have a great week.
This summer, Pluto TV is exploding with thousands of free movies. Summer of Cinema is here. Feel the explosive action all summer long with movies like Gladiator, Mission Impossible, Beverly Hills Cop, Good Burger, and Transformers: Dark of the Moon. Bring the action with you and stream for free from all your favorite devices. Pluto TV. Stream now. Pay never.